Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at the leaks of the two upcoming legacy ascendables, and they are going to be Maggie, Life and Death, and also Hershel miles behind us. First up, we're going to look at Hershel as the 5-star and look at some predictions in terms of what he's going to become as a 6-star. This is going to be very much like my Douglas and Rick video. Now first off, Hershel is available in 5-star tokens, elite tokens and prestige tokens, so he is much more widely available than a lot of characters are, and for that I think he's not going to be as great as 6-star just based on the fact that a lot of people will have him. That's basically what happened with Douglas and Rick. Douglas, widely available, was good, whereas Rick was not as widely available, was much better in terms of having active revives, seemed to have much better balanced stats, and basically was just a better character overall, especially as they were both Guardian 2 shields. You could compare them quite easily. Now with Hershel and Maggie, again, they're not both revives, but they're going to be fairly comparable just because of the fact they're medics. So we'll look at Hershel first. Like I said though, deal 450% damage to one enemy, revive one teammate with 60% of their max HP. So as a 5-star, his rush was okay. It's called Life and Death. It wasn't super fast, but 58 AP wasn't too bad. It couldn't get a turn 2 rush on defense teams, but on attack teams it would have been perfectly fine. And the fact that it dealt damage was actually pretty nice as well, so potentially you would have actually been taking this guy on attack teams, and that could be the case when it comes to his 6-star. He has also got execution, which is quite cool, but it isn't spectacular. If this was to change for 6-star, you know, if this was to change into a decapitate or something else like that, that would obviously be amazing, but a lot of the times, recently especially, we haven't seen the specialist skills change too much. So here's what his leak is as a 6-star. Some of this is accurate in terms of off of his leak, and some of it is just my predictions of what it's going to be. The stats are accurate from the leaks, and it's 1,929 attack, 1,821 defense, and 1,607 HP. He is still going to be strong. He is still a medic. So based off these stats, he does look like more of an attacking character. His HP is actually pretty low, so it's actually quite a strange balance within his stats. But the nice high attack is going to have some nice synergy, obviously, with the high percentage damage if it is going to continue like it is on a 5-star to the 6-star, which you'd assume so because he's got high base attack. It just, I mean, you'd hope so at least, because we have had characters in the past, like Nick, for instance, within the League Store, has very high attack, doesn't have a rush that actually utilizes it. So let's hope that this character does. I'm going to keep the adrenaline rush called Life and Death. This is an adrenaline rush made by me. Deal 450% damage to one enemy, up to 3 enemies get minus 50% defense for 2 turns. Revive one teammate with 60% of their max HP. So we'll break this down into the 2 parts. Deal 450% damage to one enemy is the same as his 5-star rush. Now, generally as a 6-star, they always get something added to it, and the thing I'm going to add is 3 enemies get minus 50% defense for 2 turns. And I think that's actually pretty nice. I don't think there are too many strong characters that have defense down. I don't think there are any, if I am actually honest. Maybe not even within... Oh, within promo, they've got Diego, who recently came out, but it's much stronger. Diego's does everybody. This would only do 3, and it's kind of... I think it's identical to... Who's it identical to? Connor. This is going to be quite a lot like Connor, but this is obviously a strong character. Revive one teammate with 60% of their max HP is identical again to the 5-star. And like I said, because this guy is going to be widely available, I don't think his rush is going to be like super spectacularly changed. But I would like to see defense down. It would have a nice synergy with other characters, obviously, who are strong. And there aren't too many characters who can be used with strong characters other than having promo leaders, which is just hard to come by. And this is a legacy character, so it should be geared towards free-to-play. You know, what is available with free-to-play right now. And free-to-play needs certain things. And defense down, obviously, is very important. Have nice synergy with someone like Alpha, even though it is only going to be 3 of those characters. But that could be quite nice. I don't think it's going to be like too game breaking to have that as a rush personally, but hey. 76 AP cost as well. It's just going to be the sort of standard AP cost. We'll look at the active skill, and this is something that actually I discovered on my stream recently. There is 0 recover impair characters within Strong. None. Not one character has recover impair. That is insane. So this is why I'm having recover and pair in here, just because there just aren't any. Not within promos, not within free-to-plays, and the fact that strong characters are good to take up against these Eric teams which have impair on defense, it's actually a nice sort of counter to the Eric defense teams. And like I said, I think this guy is going to be more of an attacking character. It's identical to the G2 Ezekiel's active which is recover impair as well. Obviously, it has an initial cooldown of 2 and up to 3 teammates recover from impaired. Like I said, identical to Guardian 2 Zeke's. Now the specialist skill I'm going to keep the same, but if this was to change, obviously something like Decapitate would be spectacular, but I can't really see this changing, if I'm honest. I think it's going to either stay the same or it will change. I don't know. I can't really see what else it could change to. So I'm going to just pretty much leave it as the same. So that's my idea of what Hershel could become. And I would think this was actually a pretty decent character for an attack team. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be too game changing. It's going to be a nice free to play stepping stone. It's going to combat the massively stacked tanky defense teams at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be overly powerful. There are characters like this within free to play already. This is just a strong version of that, i.e. there is Connor, like I said before. So that's the idea behind Hershel. If you have any ideas of what his rush could become, changing from a 5-star to a 6-star, please do write in the comments. I will check that, and it'll be interesting to see who gets close when this character actually gets released. Now, next up, we're going to look at Maggie, Life and Death, and I have to say, as a 5-star, this character was one of my favorite characters. I just loved the fact that she did bonus HP. She was one of the very first bonus HP characters. I loved it. I think she was initially a war reward. She is available in 5-star tokens, but that's it pretty much. I didn't get her in one of my regions for ages, and then I recently got her, so I'm pretty happy. And in my other region, I've had her for a while. My brother recently pulled her from the Heartbreak token, so he effectively got an ascendable, so he was kind of lucky, even though we didn't know she was going to be an ascendable at that point. Here she is as a 5-star, and she had a very fast rush. 45 AP cost, deals 700% damage to one enemy, up to 3 teammates, gains 30% bonus HP. It was actually a really nice rush on a defense team. This kind of letdown with her was the fact that she did have command, in that she wouldn't rush turn 2. Sometimes she'd actually command people, but generally that would be a turn 1 command, which was obviously going to be really, really strong. So yes, she did have specialist skill command, and this is my idea of what she'll be like as a 6-star. The stats are identical to the leak, so it's 1,491 attack, 2,023 defense, 1,810 HP. She is of course going to stay a fast medic as well, and this is my idea for her rush. Bolstering attack, 66 AP cost. Because her rush as a 5-star was so fast, I think she'll still be quite fast as a 6-star, sorry. Deals 600% damage to up to 2 enemies. All teammates gain 25% bonus HP and also gain 60% attack for 2 turns. So compared to Hershel, she's getting a little bit more because she's not as widely available. Her 700% damage to 1 enemy is now 600% damage to up to 2 enemies. I think this is probably a little bit of a reach. If it was going to be up to 2 enemies, I think it would be like 500, 550%, maybe even down to 450% damage. I think 600% is a lot. Her base attack rating isn't that high though, so potentially that could still work. Or it's going to just remain the same at 700% damage to 1 enemy. The fact that she doesn't have that high attack initially led me to believe that she'd be more of a good like defensive character. But it could also be the fact that she's going to keep that 700% damage to 1 enemy, and they don't want it to be super powerful within a 6-star, obviously. Now, the second part of it I buffed out massively. Initially, it's up to 3 teammates gain 30% bonus HP, and that's on her 5-star. On her 6-star, all teammates gain 25% bonus HP, so everyone's getting that bonus HP, even if it's only 25%, and also gain 60% attack. And that 60% attack will basically mean she's going to be viable on an attack team and a defense team, because an attack buff will work on both teams, especially if she's working with certain characters like Lydia's, where Lydia's going to give out the defense, she'd give out the attack, and that'll be a really nice combo between these two. And obviously, if she is going to remain a command as a 6-star, that's going to have a nice combination with Lydia as well. Now, her active skill is Recover Stun, and I looked around and it's very hard to predict what the active skill is going to be. I'm going to be honest. I could never really predict Rick was going to be an active revive. I mean, I could say everyone should be an active revive. That'd be great, but it's not going to happen. But Recover Stun, the last free-to-play Recover Stun was Joshua, and he was released so long ago. He was like within the first 10 characters, and I'm going to be honest, he wasn't that good. And free-to-play Recover Stun is kind of needed in every trait, if I'm honest, and we don't have one in fast other than Joshua. And like I said, Joshua's not that great. Like, it's just the way it is. As a specialist skill, she is going to remain a command, I assume. And it is kind of strange that this character was picked just based on the fact that the lead character right now is Nick. And because she is going to be potentially a command, I'd say it might be worth just avoiding getting Nick. He is very expensive. I don't think he's spectacular in terms of his stats balance. Whereas this character is great in terms of her stats balance. She's got very nice defensive stats, which means you can utilize her as a support character much better. Attack stats on a support character, especially a command, not great. So these are my ideas for the 2 characters. These are the leaked characters though. It's going to be Maggie, Life and Death, and Hershel, miles behind us. But these 2 6-stars are just my ideas of what they're going to turn into. The stuff on the left-hand side in terms of their base stats are the leak stats, but these could change. They changed with Michelle, although it was Michelle coming out in the Generation 2 era, which I'm very happy they did obviously update Michelle's stats to Generation 2. They didn't do that with Maggie, they didn't do that with John, so it was really nice that they did that with Michelle, because potentially she looks like she's going to be free to play. But if you have any ideas of what these 2 characters' rushes could be like, or what you want them to be like I said, please write them in chat. I will check the comments. But that's the end of my video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.